Dialed in
to Bucks and Brews, you might hear something
you can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use
smarts of these stuff.
because they know the
And
brews.
they know the Bucks, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, because shit's not funny.
Save yourself some
Beer money. Bucks
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks and brews.
Bucks and Brews.
Welcome back to Bucks and Brews. Nick, we had to go jump in the pool. It was so fucking hot after last week's.
That was a rough episode.
Jesus.
I
sponsored you last week.
You did.
And I'm actually drinking tea today. I have Snapple peach tea. But if I do decide I want to drink, I assume you're going to sponsor me.
I will be sponsoring you with the tried and true, always blue Bud Light.
We know I am not a Bud Light fan, but
here's the thing that popped up in my Facebook memories real quick before we introduce our guest.
okay.
So 8 years ago, my daughter was born. My wife, went 2 months or a month after having the kid before she drank. And I have a picture, and in the picture it shows I got my wife a very nice KBS, and apparently I had a Miller Lite.
Oh,
And I was like, whoa,
I've never seen you drink a Miller
that's
Lite.
what I'm saying. Like, it's been at least 8 years since I remember my last fucking Miller. And I was like, because I know I've tried them, but like I don't like Miller Lite. That's not a thing I go to. So it must have just been a friend left it at the house from a party or something happened, and I happened to just I'm not gonna let a beer go to waste,
Oh, of course not.
But I'm surprised it was actually in the photo, and I was like, huh, I have drank a Miller Lite in my life. And so
I will go to Miller Lite before I will go to Bud Light.
not anymore. You won't.
Well, I mean, if it's like you, if it's free, I'm drinking.
That's a fact. So, we have a great guest that we're excited. Entrepreneur himself, man, self-made guy. Unlike some people in this world who get hand-me-downs from their parents.
Not us.
Definitely not us. Say, Preston, thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you tell us what you do, where you're from, and we'll get into questions.
And what you're drinking.
and the number one most important thing, what you're drinking.
All right, so what I'm drinking at 3:00 in the afternoon.
What he's jerking to.
Is a Church Music Juicy IPA from the Shot Beer Company in Tempe.
Nice. That sounds great.
It's not too bad actually.
Huh. I'm a little jealous.
I own a company with a whole bunch of different aspects to it. So I own Callahan Auto and Diesel here in Mesa, Arizona, and we have an 8-bay mechanic shop. We also have 7 roadside service trucks covering the state of Arizona, and just recently became a federal contractor for the U.S. Forest Service for wildfires. So we'll deploy to wildfires, and also we can actually get deployed out to FEMA jobs and hazardous stuff as well. And then along with that, I'm dabbling into starting a construction division of the company, all based on federal contracting. So a little bit of a whole lot of things going on. So like I was telling you, ADHD before we got on the call.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just let's go big, go home.
That's great. So 8-bay mechanic shop. I mean, So it looks like some stacks on the logo there. I see a spark plug, a wrench. But I see you guys do diesel and.
Yeah, so in the shop, it's kind of a split house. So I have one side of it's all diesel, all the way up to like medium duty, like F650s, usually the smaller diesel.
Sure.
And then the other house is all the regular cars like Priuses and all the way up to pickup trucks. And then my roadside division is all the equipment and heavy duty, semi trucks and tractors.
Wow. Okay. And sorry, so you have 7 trucks on the road doing that.
Yep.
Doing strictly diesel repair.
Yep.
Okay. And then any mobile mechanics for gasoline engines or anything?
They do a little bit of everything on the service truck. So depends on the call. That'll depend on what tech we dispatch to. So they do run 24 hours a day, and so I always have someone on call. And depends on obviously geographical location. We typically have a truck there on site within 90 minutes, no matter where it's as a response time. So that's kind of what we pride ourselves on. That's why we have the bigger national accounts, and and the bigger companies that we deal with. So they like that fast response.
Sure. So I know I just jumped into a lot of really big questions, and I want to take a step back, like if we can.
Take a
Yeah.
step even farther back.
Yeah, like way, way back.
What do you say at the beginning?
Oh, guys, we already started this thing, but please, if you're liking what you're hearing so far, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. We love it. As you can tell, we're getting into this thing.
Jumping right in.
Preston, all right, how'd you start this thing, man? You didn't start out with 8 bays and mommy and daddy
No.
giving you a big old loan, did you?
Nope. So when I was 16, I was a cleanup kid at a shop, and that's how I kind of learned how to be a mechanic. So I actually still have customers been coming to me since I was 16, and then I was a jet engine mechanic. Well, no, actually before that I worked for the U.S. Forest Service, and so I did that for a couple of years. Then I was a jet engine mechanic. Got laid off. Everyone was all bummed out. This was always my side job, and I went home when I still lived at home. And I'm like, all right, got my severance package, went home and shipped a bunch of vehicles out, and I just went full time out of my parents' house, wrenching on cars. And I was 18. No, I was like 19, 20 years old when that happened. And I was trying to apply for multiple jobs, but when you have a skill, there's no you want to utilize that skill. I don't want to start backwards into fast food or nothing like that. Nothing against them, but it's just I wanted to use what I had skill for. And after a couple of years doing that in my parents' house, because I would have a waiting area under the shade tree in the front yard. I'll have 4 vehicles in the driveway, 2 in the rocks, couple in the street, couple around the corners, and so I was working out all the neighbors' cars, so I didn't get in trouble by the city, that type of thing. Sure. And then finally, my grandpa's the one that was like, you should just open a shop. And I never really thought about it because my mom's an entrepreneur, but that wasn't really like a kind of like a verbal, like I didn't really know what the entrepreneur was. I just know business owner or not business owner, Sure. And so I started, I got the keys to my first shop on my 23rd birthday in 2010. And then from there, I went from 1,850 square foot, my first shop for my first year. Then I went to 10,400 square foot. And it was kind of a big jump. And I was starting all these little side companies I had a recording studio in my second shop, and I was subleasing 2 up there. So you would come in, there'd be dubstep artists and just jamming over here. And then I had a clothing line company, and I had, the welding shop over here. I mean, in my head, I was, I don't have a degree, a business degree. I have a Google business degree. If I didn't know it, I just looked it up.
Sure.
And like I told people, it was kind of like throwing turds at a wall, wait till one sticks. And so then finally I was like, I was starting all these things because I'm like, man, I know a lot of good people. I can start this and get them to run this, and this big old pot's in the center, all this money will be coming in, and but that's not really how business goes. You got to have a good solid backbone, and I was spreading myself too thin. And so trying to find good employees, I think that's I listened to a couple of your guests around here. That's a big thing, trying to find the right workers out there. Where they went, no idea. But yeah, I kind of chopped all those off and kind of stuck in with the shop. And then I started my service trucks. I got my first service truck about 5 years ago. And I was the only operator in it. So I had my dad works for me, so he's running my front counter. So I was trying to operate the shop and run 24-hour service for these a couple of accounts, and then finally got big enough where I got another truck and another truck and another truck, and then bigger accounts. So now we're trying to tap on the federal government door, and trying to get that's the biggest customer and consumer you can think about doing business with. So that's why we're like, all right, it's I have a lot invested into it right now, but it's investing for a long game, not a short game. If that makes sense.
So, and now just one location is like all you guys have?
We have one location. I just got a yard. It's pretty much to just kind of have my service trucks, a place to operate, because it was getting too jammed up in the one location. So it's a yard. So if the semi truck, we can't fix it on the side of the highway, instead of just saying, hey, good luck, we can't help you. Now we can actually pull it to our yard and then work on it the following day type thing. And so we just got that a couple months ago. Yeah, I'm just trying to, this kind of changed my whole business focus with the service trucks is, because, in business, when you have a brick and mortar, you're only looking at a 15-20 mile radius of customer base. The going mobile and having service trucks, this is now a nationwide type of, mind thought, you know what I mean, where this can go. So now it's just trying to restructure a little bit, trying to get the shop just cruise control by itself, and then just go hog wild and just stupid crazy on the service trucks and just run it as big as we can get.
Sure. That's great. How many employees do you have currently?
We have 14.
Just 14. Wow.
Yep. So
And for 7 trucks all around, plus guys in the shop, plus okay, so 2 sides. You have do your diesel mechanics still work on gasoline engines and all that?
they do. The guys in the service trucks, they do. They go back and forth, and there's also a couple. I'm a big networker, so I network like crazy, and so there's a couple. There's 4 other mobile mechanic, businesses that I've befriended. And especially in this industry, it's really kind of, screw you, it's my business, they don't work together. It's all, they look at everyone's competition. Yep. And to me, that's an opportunity. So I'm gonna work with them. And, just like I got 3 other companies that I have them subcontracted under me for our federal contracts. And so if we can't do it or we're too busy, then we'll roll those guys into it. Cause they just have the local companies. We have all the big, net 30, 40, 50, 90, accounts, and a lot of small business that's hard to roll that sometimes. So that's why I'm like, well, we look better on paper and numbers. So it's better to network and come together and work together and be the pretty much. I think we're the biggest, as if we all team up like we are right now. We're pretty much the biggest mobile service provider in the state, I believe.
Sure. No, that's huge. I think, working together, especially in your field, right? Because everybody's like, well, fuck, he can't do it. This is why I do it. This is why you come to me as a mechanic. It's like, no, man, like I'm just trying to help you help me, right? I don't have to give you the work. I'll get to it, but hey, I'd rather it be done fast. I trust your work, right? Because how many mechanics talk shit about another mechanic all the time? Blows
so
my
much.
mind, It's just, that idiot doesn't know what he's doing. And so I grew up, my dad was an auto body technician. He owned a shop for a little bit. I didn't learn shit. I can do brakes. And my brother, I don't want to say ADHD like you, right? But like, he just goes and tries to get it done, right? And he forgets to put a wire on, or he'll forget to do something. I'll take a step back and be like, all right, what could be causing something? So like, I can diagnose things a hell of a lot better than he can. And hey, it won't start. All right, let's just go change the battery. And I'm like, no, let's figure out what these. Okay, we have no power. Okay, hey, we have an alternator. We have a starter, right? Like I'm like, hey, we have all of these things. Let's figure out what the cheapest one to do first is, the easiest one to test first, right? And he's like, let's just get it done. And I'm like, no. I don't have time and money for that shit, right? So
we all have our own specialty.
Yeah, but it's funny because my brother, not a mechanic, but has, he's restored a few cars, stuff like that. He could do it. But I still talk shit about so many other people and how dumb they are and can't figure things out. Did they get the job done? That's all that matters, right? Yep. Like, I've seen you duct tape a front bumper together.
You see it in a lot of businesses, though. There's not a lot of working together.
Nope.
I mean, we run into that with our business. Everybody's cutthroat and we're the best and everybody else sucks and screw everyone, which, I mean, there's money to be made that way, but there's a lot more money to be made if, we're working together, like you said, maybe Preston doesn't have time to get this done, but he can, have John get this done.
Yep.
So he looks good because he helped solve the problem. John gets some work. It helps him out. Everybody's happy.
Yep. Instead
of, running everybody down.
Right. Well, also things got so technical nowadays. So when it, trying to expect one truck to have all the tools and equipment. I mean, the computers we have to have. We're like a doctor's office nowadays. All the electronics we have to have on the trucks, and so Everyone has their own specialty. So as calls come in, we'll obviously send it to the guy, this guy over here. This is his forte. So we can be, number one, customers getting the better deal and the more quality of the repair. And we're not sitting here just ripping the cost up as we're learning. Like I always tell my customers, we're not going to teach you, we're not going to charge you for learning something. And so it's all about, hey, we'll tell them. There's been so many calls I've taken where I tell the customer straight up, like, I've never seen this before. I don't know what in the hell we're doing, but I'll make it right with you. I'll give it the old college go and do the best I can. They go, thanks for being honest. Hell yeah, to give it a shot. I'm like, hey, I'm paying $1,000 a month on these diagrams, so it's got to be able to get me somewhere. But if you always, just be honest, man. Just don't bullshit someone. And it's crazy how especially this industry. I think a lot of mechanics are taught to or looked at like lawyers. Yeah. It's not your best day when you call a mechanic, and every time they call in, they're like, okay, I'm gonna get fucked right now. Let's just see how hard. And so it's like, that's why with all the stuff the different things we have in my shop and how we do business a little bit different than all the other ones, because that's what makes an entrepreneur. You got to make a little bit different. There's a million different ways to skin a cat, so this is my way over here. It's a little bit different than the status quo.
Now, your employees, are you offering them insurance or?
That was a big thing. I finally got all my crew on insurance last year.
Good for you.
Man, trying to offer healthcare for your employees, because my thing was, I've been trying to do this for 4 or 5 years, but because there's a different. That's what makes a job a career at that point. And in my head, I'm going, hey, this is what I got to do, but it's expensive. It costs so much freaking money. And, I don't pay my guys top ramen wages. I pay them as much, I always tell my employees, other business owners or entrepreneurs will argue with me on this, where you can't be that open with your employees. I'm like, I think you can. I tell them all the time, if you ever question what I'm paying you, come talk to me. It's a mathematical equation, what I pay you. And if we can bring up the bar and we can do better, well, guess what? I only need, what I need to be making as profit is a mathematical equation. So anything on top of that, hey, that's where bonuses come from. That's where raises come from. And I'm really big at trying to get my employees involved. Like, every aspect of what I do and get into, I think about it for a long time, and I get that basic concept in my head, think it's going to work before I say anything, but then I get everyone's opinion. And I like having that devil's advocate say, that's a shitty idea. Did you think about this or anything like that? And at the end of the day, my thing is, number one, I want my employees to know where I'm trying to push this company, what kind of future you have in this industry. And also have a say in this business, because if that idea doesn't work out, well, guess what? Everyone had a goddamn say in what I was trying to do. No one said anything. So, it was a shot. We did the best we can. And also too, in this industry, it's rough on your body, man. On your back and all that stuff. So it's I would say most mechanic shops out there, it's once you can't do it anymore, they slap you on the ass and say, welcome to Walmart. Thank you. Or if they even say thank you. And me, I'm going, well, unfortunately for me to have, kind of carry someone all the way through to retirement, I got to get bigger. I got to be able to have, positions to roll people out from the wrenches into management or into tech assistants, or, and you're still using their brain, still using their, their mind. Because, they trusted me all these years to take care of them, and the business needs to take back care of them, in my opinion. Yep. So it's a give or take. It's a two-way street. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think it's great that you're thinking that way.
I love this thinking, because I know I've had the conversation with our staff recently of my vision. My vision is, at some point, this is going to be a profit sharing company where we're all enriched by how well we're doing. And when you empower your employees and you make them feel like they are valued, you're going to get way more out of them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something lost on bigger businesses. I see it at the company I work for all the time. We can talk about how valued we are, but I know where I see my value as an employee. I see it in what I get paid every 2 weeks.
Right.
And if it's, a 3% raise every year, that doesn't really do a lot for me. Which is why when we talk about giving out raises at break room, it's like, all right, is this even feasible? A, and does it actually mean anything to the person? I don't want to give them a 10-cent raise. That doesn't mean shit to anybody. If I can't give them 50 cents to $1, it's probably worthless.
Right.
And
You've been there getting 10-cent raises. You know,
yeah, I
what
have.
it's like.
It's more of a slap in your face than just saying, hey, I don't have any extra to give you right now. I'm sorry. We're doing the best we can. So, I mean, you give that empowerment to the employees and they'll bend over backwards for you.
Yeah. Well, like right now, it's been what I'm trying to now restructure things because I've going on 14 years in business, so I've learned a couple things, and it took 14 years to get here. So there's we're the numbers that we hit last year, we doubled in business, and I don't know how the hell we did it. It was definitely working harder, not smarter. I can tell you that much. And I always do my raises or looking at what I can do every year at the beginning of the year from my employees. Well, I couldn't do it this year, and it pissed me off. And so I started digging deep into it. I'm like, oh my God, we're bleeding money out of every orifice in known to mankind over here between parts. I mean, I had to throw away $20,000 in dead inventory. I mean, what are you supposed to do with it? You can't. And so I started digging deep, and obviously when I pay my guys salary, usually in this industry, it's more flat rate piecework type thing. And you start getting some guys that are whining a little bit, but in my head, I go, well, complacency is set in. And with complacency, I can't grow this thing to raise that bar up to pay you more money. And I'm not okay with that. I'm not going to let you be okay with that either. And like I was telling my guys, this is a trade-off. You donate your time to come work for me. In return, I reward you for pay. And if I can't pay you more money when everything's getting more expensive every year, there's a problem, guys. But hey, we start ripping band-aids off. Things got to get a little worse before it gets better. But no business is perfect. From the outside, it may look like, oh my God, you guys are doing great, this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, but there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's a lot of laboring, trying to make sure it gets there. It's not just set it, forget it type thing. So
yep. So now you're how long until you start working on these contracts with the government?
We're in an active contract right now. It's a 5-year contract.
Okay.
And this sounds really bad, but we don't do anything until wildfires start popping up.
Okay.
And we have a lot of small fires right now, but they have to be big enough to, I mean, you got to think when these big wildfires show up, everything's getting driven in, towed in, or flown in, or whatever. So they're bringing a city out to middle of nowhere. So we're on the list. Like I said, it's not a guarantee thing. Obviously, it's all based on weather patterns. And as you guys know, besides the political shit, the weather pattern has been crazy this year too, nationwide.
Yeah.
So so there's that. But that's why I'm looking at the contracting side as well. The construction side going. I just did my first bid. I'm waiting to see if I can get it. If I can get it, then gloves are off. Now I know I can do it. Yep. So but yeah, I especially starting business, I know so many good people out of work or don't like where they're working, and I'm going, God damn it, I can take care of you.
Yep.
I can, you'll be a lot happier over here. It makes me upset seeing these other companies run these employees like this. So if I can start this, put some more time into it, and then if it works out, again, that turd against the wall, see if it sticks and see if I can make it happen. If not, I tried, but I have the credentials and able to do it. So let's try it.
Yeah. So you kind of talked about wanting to make it a national brand. How long do you think until you actually make this a national company?
Well, we're starting to with the type of companies that we're getting, the big corporate companies we're getting, they're starting to pull us a little farther outside the metropolitan area of Phoenix, which is a good sign. And we've ran service calls to California and Nevada. So we've done out of state and way out of the out parts of the state. But once we get the infrastructure there, and we're almost to the point we have an infrastructure and a system in place where if I can just take a truck and just dump it out of state and still run it, once we get to that point, then it's going to snowball. So I'm hoping, and that's kind of like a 5-year game plan to at least get and that cover the whole Southwest. Going full nationwide. That's going to take some money investors and some really big push to be able to scale that way. But at the same time, once we can get out of state and once we have a system that works to jump out of state, then the gloves are off and we can push from there.
Sure. And sorry, didn't ask in the beginning. You have a wife, kids?
I got a wife and 2 kids, one 7 and one 4 months old.
Okay, congrats.
Thank you.
So, and then is your wife involved in the business?
She is. She about a year ago she came on board when she was pregnant with our 4-month-old, and I told her a long time ago, I don't want to, because especially a mechanic working 90 to 100 out plus hours a week, and an entrepreneur, it's man. It's not easy to be married to us, you know what I mean? And so I told a long time ago, like, I'm never going to expect you to come work with me at the shop and help me out. But if you ever want to, and you come and ask me, that's going to make me feel good because you like where I'm trying to take this. And it's obviously a yes. And so she finally did, and which has been awesome. And I love working with her. Her desk is literally right across from each other. We're right across from each other. So, but it's now that she's on board, I couldn't believe I was even running this thing before. The amount of money she's been finding that's slipping through the cracks because I'm just so busy, just powerhousing. And I'm good at spearheading the ideas and working. I'm not good at the paperwork, and and she's vice versa.
Oh God, and say having that paperwork person is such a huge potential to like grow. I mean, I do paperwork once a year. I already have my tax date, which is like February 27th next year, whatever it might be. And I will do my paperwork February 26th.
Yeah.
Right. Like, no, I've tried to get better at it. Every year I try to make it's just like a diet, right? So once I get done with my accountant, I'm like, I'm going to do really well. And I do good for about a month, maybe 2 months. And then I fall off, and then I'm like, shit, I haven't filled out this stuff. So I go back and redo it. But no, having a person to constantly do that stuff is huge.
Well, especially when it's your wife and she,
She's the same.
Oh yeah, man. Especially she gets it. She sees what I'm trying to do. And if your spouse isn't on board with you, what you're trying to spearhead and do, it's not going to last. It's not going to be sustainable.
Yep.
Especially if they're going to fight you every time. And the kids really helped kind of. I was stuck in this this like proof of concept stage for a long time, because I kind of second guess myself, trying to like, man, I wonder if I can do this. I mean, are we doing good? And then when she was pregnant with our first son, it's like, I have to fucking make this work now.
Yeah, I have no other options at that moment.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't do this. So I'm like, I got 9 months. This thing's got to turn around. And so as soon as I got out of that, like, proving to myself I can do it, and I have a product that people want. And I started looking back a little bit from like I would say 10-foot perspective. I'm like, oh shit, I need to do this, this, and this. We got something here. And then I just started laying the coals on, man. And then when the second kid when she was pregnant with the second one, it's like, all right, afterburners, let's kick this thing up. I need to spend more time with the kids and get this thing up and going. My employees were having kids, and so it's the weight of everyone relying on you. Yep. That's a lot, man. It's a lot of moving parts to it.
It's absolutely insane, right? And if it doesn't bother you, you're not a good business owner. And I mean that in the nicest way, right? Like, we have this conversation because I'm in real estate right now. And so I understand that I house people and do this, but like, I also am flipping, right? So the people that are working for me, I'm constantly have to keep them work, right? Like, they need it to pay their bills. Like, I am their employer. And so people don't understand how much stress you put on you can't call it yourself, right? Like, because it's the business that we have, but it really is like, I'm putting the stress on myself to make sure that they're happy, content, just so much as me, right? Like,
well, I know one of the things you and I both struggle with is handing over any type of control.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it falls on us because we're running our businesses, and you know, we went on vacation.
Mhm.
It was hard for you to get away from your phone.
Oh, it's fucking insane.
Somebody needs to come in and run break room and we're not available. It's hard for us to just hand that over to anybody. It
Right.
doesn't matter how good they are. It doesn't matter. Preston, how do you navigate that? So, you know, you go nationwide, you're going to have people that are in positions of authority, not always coming to you. How do you
Well, that
kind of
was
go with that?
that was my biggest thing. I try to scale up, and it's always going to be the biggest thing to scale up. Besides trying to get the good employees on board. When I first started looking at that, I was like, okay, process and procedures. Okay, well, you do something so long that you just naturally are just keyed in to just do it without even thinking. So trying to sit back and go, how do I do this? Well, I started doing process and procedures for every part of the business. My God, it was a fucking Bible. I'm like, there's no, you know, like it's like, holy crap, man. It's, you know, there's no way I can like, oh, okay, here you go. And you know what to do, because there's so many different things on it. So I'm like, okay, what can I, automize, you know, what kind of softwares can I get? And you know, the reason what made it hard to release some of the reins and give it over to somebody is I didn't feel like I had it dialed in enough to tell them exactly how to do their job without me there. So it was pretty much second guessing myself. Because if I had if I had it dialed in, it was like, okay, here's how you do your job, boom, 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 boom. And and if you have any problems, here's a redundant plan over here, you know, that type of thing. It's like, okay, get off my plate, because now I can do this over here. And you know, right when I thought I had a decent set going on, as soon as we grew a little bit, well, what we were doing back then was working. Now it's not working now, because we're more volume, more trucks, or whatever. So it's like, okay, back to the drawing board, you know, let's change this, let's change that. And so it's you know, it's creating the game plan to train that position. And that's the only way you can kind of release that responsibility, if that makes sense. So I mean, I still have full control. I mean, do I have cameras that I can look at my shop where I'm not there on my phone? All my software is all cloud based, so I can log in. My truck is like a central command system for these fires, where I can I have full Wi-Fi, printer, the whole 9 yards. I can oversee every piece of the operation, including cameras in my whole operation, not to
Micromanage.
guess, or not to micromanage, but if I have to jump in and put out a fire, if I have, no pun intended, if I have to jump in and take care of something, or if there's a customer that's pissed off, or something major happens, I need to be able to control this right now. And that right there was another big one for like allowing me to, like, man, my vacations for the first 7 years we were together was, if I don't have cell phone service, I ain't fucking going.
Mhm.
You had vacations in the first 7 years. That's pretty impressive.
Well, it was forced.
Yeah,
It was a heavy hand forced upon me. But
so you can either go on vacation or you can be married.
Exactly, 100%. And but if I didn't have cell phone service, I was like Googling campsites that have cell phone service, because like, if I'm unplugged, because I was doing all dispatching and all that stuff, if I was unplugged, it's not just my company not making that revenue, it's affecting my employees at that time too. So then, okay, take some more money, get a system together to be able to do that. Now I have someone doing dispatching and a phone tree system and all this other stuff going on. I never realized the amount of logistics in even the simplest side of the business, until you start writing those process procedures, or start putting kind of pen and paper and start writing those things down.
Sure. And we say that a lot on this podcast, is write things down, physically write it down. Don't type it out. Like, it takes so much more when you have a pen and a paper, right? Like, write it down, lay out everything, because you'll see it so much more clear. And people are like, oh, no, I love graphs and I love this. Just trust me, right? Like, you can take what you have here, and if you're good at it and you love it, then go throw it on the computer right after that. But you'll, like, because everything you step by step, you're writing it and doing it. And I think that's a huge thing for me. Now, I say one thing, you'd kind of said, hey, I want to get some of my older guys into management and things like that. You mentioned your father works for you. Out of curiosity, what's the average age of employee that you have currently?
Well, in the shop, let's see, in the shop, it's me and I have 2 other techs that are between the 26 and 35 range. The rest of them are 54 to 65.
Yep.
And and it's fucking sad. I'd rather hire someone in their 40s, 50s, 60s over their 20s or 30s. That's how bad this workforce is. It is absolutely insane. Anymore, I'm hiring based on, can I get along with your ass?
Yep.
Do you personality? How is your personality? And that's how you have to hire nowadays. I'll teach you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
But can I get along with you?
Because I know, I mean, right, especially in your industry, which is, it's kind of a weird one if you've never been in the mechanics world, right? Like, I don't know what your radio station is out there, right? But I mean, GRD is on in every fucking if you ever go to a mechanic shop, right?
Always.
Don't sit here and walk in and try to play something. If you're in your dad's barn, he can play whatever, but I guarantee you it's going to be 80s rock music that's just playing the fucking thing, right? And you walk into a warehouse and it's like, oh, I want to listen to Taylor Swift. I want to listen to hardcore metal. I want to listen. No. Like, these guys all listen to fucking Bob Seger. There's not a single mechanic that can't sit here. If you find a mechanic that doesn't like Bob Seger, don't trust that mechanic. It's all I'm telling you right now, right? Plain and simple. But and mechanics, they're just fucking workers, right? All they want to do is go work, take their hands. 50% of them are going to wash it with Gojo. We made that joke earlier. They're going to grab their fucking sandwich that they made at home. They're going to eat their sandwich and they're going to get back to work, right? Like, they'll punch out. They don't want to work till 5:05. They want to work till 5, right? If they have to, yeah, whatever. They'll do some side stuff, but really, they're going to go, and 90% of them are going to go home and fucking work on their car. They're going to be. Say, I don't know. You're the owner, but I mean, how many of your guys are still driving around beater cars that are just getting by right now? Not because they don't have the money, but because they just make it fucking work.
Yeah. Almost all of them. And they just it's one of those things. Well, why do this? Why I can just fix it.
Yep.
I'm this. I just finally got a new truck for this contract, but I was driving a service truck, 260,000 miles on it, and now the wife and the family has a brand new freaking ride.
Everybody's wife does.
Yeah, I don't want to work on that shit.
Yep.
Well, I don't want a pissed off wife calling. I'm like, hey, it's a brand new car. Let's take it to the dealer. Fuck these guys. And like, I don't want to be like, hey, it was my responsibility to make sure it's safe for the family.
Yep. Well, and the other thing it goes to is, how many of your guys drive older vehicles versus newer vehicles? Not because, but just because they fucking hate working on new vehicles, as you said, like this technology and the stuff that's in these things.
God awful.
It's just fucking steep, right? I would much rather sit here and deal with, a motor, right? Simple gas, air, spark. Now you throw in a computer that tells me if a fucking sensor got set off just so I can send that signal. I'm out, right? Like, I just want to deal with gas, air, and spark and call it a day.
This is how crazy it is. These new diesels on a high polluted day, the exhaust coming out of these new diesels are cleaner than the air going into the air filter, the air that we're breathing. So the exhaust is cleaner than the air outside. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, it's nuts. That's how fine tuned everything is nowadays. So it's crazy.
Yeah, see, and that's why I don't work on new shit, right? Say,
they make it hard to work on those things.
Of course,
everything's so tight in the actual engine, under the hood, that you can't do simple things.
Oh yeah, well, I say I'm a big dude, so everything's tight in the first place.
But it's even worse because we have big hands and big arms. And
I just watched the YouTube video, and I want to say it was a Chevy. I don't remember, it was a truck or like a Traverse or something. And you have to take the wheel off to get into the wheel well area, and that's where your battery is. Like, it's like, holy shit. I used to make fun of Audis because they were behind under the passenger, or sorry, the back row.
Yeah.
They were under the back seat, the battery, and I was like, who the fuck would do that? Right? It's like, man, just put it wide open. Your car, shit, you have to take off stuff just to get to that battery.
Yeah.
So how much is technology? Like, do you send your guys to get trained up? Do you get trained up every year on new stuff?
All the time. So we all my parts vendors, they and the dealerships, they have these tech classes that we'll sign them up to. It's a system that I pay into, so we'll kick them out there to get refreshers on AC every year, those type of things. But a lot of stuff that we get inside my shop, it's pretty advanced stuff, because a lot of shops just like to do the the quick gravy work, the in and out, easy money type of stuff.
Mhm.
But we build engines and transmissions in house. We do get deep in electrical system work. We a lot of customers have found us because it got bounced around by 2 or 3 shops and they ended up being here. So at that point, I actually have a full online training like class program that I have all my guys on. That if they want to know more about something or they're lacking on something or whatever, I'll assign them some courses to take online. Just try to, you got to reinvest in your employees all the time, especially when things are changing so much and so fast. There's a lot of stuff that comes out that, in our industry, we're not going to see it until probably 5-6 years out. Because usually that's all under factory warranty by the time it first comes out. But still, at least everyone needs to know about it so we know what's coming down the pike. Just like all this electronic vehicle stuff. I mean, we're going to cross that bridge eventually, maybe a little bit, but it has a ways to go before we really start seeing it, in shops like this that aren't dealers. So, yeah, you gotta keep up with the Joneses all the time.
Yeah, I say, speaking of keeping up with the Joneses, so another fun question. What's the average monthly payment you think for you or your guys for a Snap-on or a Mako bill right now currently?
Well,
Smile, you can
see,
Cra-
it goes in weekly payments. Come on,
Yeah,
you're
of
supposed to
course.
break it down to smaller, So I mean, when you hear $250 a week,
That's not
too
bad. That's
shabby.
not bad.
I mean, you don't tell the technician or the rational person times 4. That's why you just tell your wife 250, 250,
250, yep.
not times 4. So,
Right.
and it's funny when our first son, I was like, I didn't literally. I was like, I want a cool toolbox. I'm out there working all the time. I've never got something like brand new for me. It's always been Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace shit. I
Yep.
want something nice and brand new. $26,000 toolbox. I was like, let's do this.
Yep.
Signed the paperwork for it. Next day, found out I had a kid on the way.
Oh shit. All
Yeah.
right.
I'm like, okay, well,
Looks like I'm working overtime.
So I guess I can't get rid of that box now, but
Yeah. Say, and that's tools in your guys' trade, they're not cheap, and but say, the good thing is I assume you have a couple route drivers that come and they'll replace them when they need. And
oh yeah,
I grew up pretty poor, and one year it was a full Snap-on Mako Christmas, right? We all got coats because my dad spent that much money in the business, and we all got die-cast cars, and it was just all the free shit that he had, and he wrapped it up, and that's what we got for Christmas. So in your industry, it's a constant. So now you said you have some like 26-year-olds. Now, do you have anybody that comes in basically no knowledge on what the hell they're doing, just looking for a job?
oh, I do, absolutely. Well, there's a tech school out here called EVIT, East Valley Institute of Technology. I'm actually
Okay.
part of their diesel advisory board. And it's really crazy when I go down there because we're in charge of going through like the curriculum for the school, the tech school, and inspect, make sure they have everything that a school needs to be able to conduct and like what's going on in the industry right now. And it's crazy. I'm the only small business down there. There's a lot of big corporate guys there that the corporate money is slamming down, but on a small business, I'm the only one there. And so yeah, we get kids over here that come in internship with us to learn. And for the longest time, I didn't really have a training program for my employees, or anyone coming in. It was always like, you got tools, you know what you're doing, slap them on the ass, let's go. And but then I had to pull back and go, okay, I need to create a training program, make sure they're trying to build a culture in a business is huge. So the only way you can keep that culture is everyone trained the same way and get along, obviously. And so we finally got that going. So we're able to now my like roadside techs, we have a whole like hit list. We're changing it all the time. There's not I'm kind of past the Googling how to do this in business mode. I kind of have to just figure it out. And so yeah, with the tech school, we get students over here all the time. This is it's a shortage of techs. I think last time I was at a tech conference, there were I think only like 25 or 30% of mechanic positions that are filled right now.
Jeez.
that's how bad that it is for these but it's a mixture between shops not giving a shit about their employees. It's a mixture of the things are getting too technical, just like in the 80s when they started putting computers on cars. A lot of techs were like, I'm out, I'm not doing this. And then with how things are coming in right now, it's like another generation shift, and the new generation coming in, it's few and far between. They don't it's a very complicated thing going on, man. It's pretty hard. And that's why I'm like, well, I can't change the whole industry, but I can try to set an example.
Yep.
And if I'm going to be the best of the best and all these other guys go out of business, all right, well, that's business is business, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
So,
well, sorry, and you said you pay your guys hourly or you pay them piece rate?
my guys in the service trucks, they're all commissioned because we charge more from daytime and nighttime hours.
Sure.
And so they're commissioned. They get a percentage cut on parts and labor. And then the guys in the shop are salary.
Salary. Okay. Which, I mean, so, I think salary, that's got to help you in a way, because, if you got, you got guys that are getting, let's just, hey, we can charge 4 hours for a brake job and normally it takes an hour. They've made 3 hours of free money, right? So now they're not going to stop to go teach this young kid how to, how to heat up a bolt to get it off, right? Because they're taking time out of their day. It takes a special mechanic to sit there and take time out of his day to give up his money to go teach somebody. So I think, does that help you to keep your guy's salary then?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So it's when you look at salary and per job piece rate, there's pros and cons both ways. Sometimes the house comes out better, sometimes the employee comes out better. Sure. But I was more focused on the technician. It took me so long to try to be able to afford a good tech that I was like, you know what, I need to pay everyone what they're worth. Like I thoroughly enjoy payroll. I know it sounds weird, but that's my time to say thank you. You know what I mean? Like, here
exactly
you go. And so, I pay them as much as I can, but then that complacency comes in because they don't have a fire under their ass to drive them.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I want everyone to work together and as a team. But then, when a job that we can only charge 4 hours for takes 13 to 15 hours, then it's like, well, if he was getting paid per job, that shit wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It takes 4 hours. He wants that sucker done in 2 hours. And so, so now it's like, okay, I've been creating a bonus structure. See if we can get that kind of kicked around. But, at the same time, let's reorganize because it's a system issue, and so that's all the revamp and trying to get leaner and meaner, try to get a bunch of clutter out of here, get all those parts cleared out of here. So when we actually start pushing and I don't want anything stopping these guys hitting their bonuses. Because right now, if we try to do it, it's like, okay, well, they're shit my way. I can't even do my job right. So, as an owner, your job is to eliminate excuses.
Yep.
Eliminate excuses, make sure everyone is paid and make sure they have a future. That's my job.
Yep.
And so that's kind of we're in the midst of right now.
And it's very hard as an owner because there's always going to be an excuse, right? And trust me, like, I haven't, we talked about it on, I think, last episode where it's like, hey, I pay my guys, basically they call me, I'm different than you. You pay probably weekly, monthly, or, bi-weekly, whatever it is. My guys call and they're like, hey, any money? Great. This is what it is. I'm coming to check. My guys will, oh, hey, we're going to need some flooring. When do you want it? Well, whenever. Great. It's fucking here tomorrow. Like, there's no excuses. You can't sit here and tell me you didn't have anything to get you working, because at that point it's literally on you because you didn't tell me you need it. Right. Like, and so, I hold the accountability back on my people quite a bit. But now, say when you talked about parts and things being in the way, this is going to be a huge, David's going to love this question. So do you guys scrap your own shit, or do you let somebody come scrap it for you?
Scrap our own shit, baby.
Yeah.
That's
making money.
That's Christmas party money right there.
That's a fact. Yep.
I had to scrap something today I wasn't expecting.
What's that?
Goddamn dryer took a shit.
Oh.
New fucking dryer last night.
All $32 scrap. Let's say.
Yeah, whatever it paid.
It's not bad.
I mean, it's better than a stick in the eye.
You didn't want it repaired?
It's already been repaired,
9
and
years old. Yeah,
it's probably 20 years old.
gotcha. Time.
So it was time, but I didn't want to spend that money.
Right.
But it went to scrap today because, like Preston,
Yep.
I need a little extra cash here. Let's go.
It's no,
Yeah.
I'm saying so you got so I guess because we like employee aspect, employee engagement, we like employee things. So you kind of mentioned, do you actually throw a Christmas party for your people?
Oh yeah.
You do bonuses, or while you're working on that, you have insurance, which is huge. What are some things that you're doing for your employees?
Well, first of all, the one thing I've done from day one is no matter how shitty the week is or day is, I always shake their hand and say thank you every freaking day.
Every day.
That's like every day. I mean, I mean that's the minimal thing you can do. No matter how crappy, I can get down ripping someone's ass, but then if they're getting ready to leave, I say, hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Have a good night. And so that is like a pet peeve of mine. I always do that, and I also make sure my managers do that as well, my advisors and my dispatch manager. You know, that also being the door wide open. My thing is, if I don't know if someone's going through something hard or can't afford a bill or whatever, if I don't know about it, there's nothing I can do about it. And so I always tell them, like, also too, I've heard stories. I don't want things, missing from my shop just because they needed some money and pawn it off or whatever. Like, come talk to me. If we can do it, cool. Here's this. Let's get you out of buying it. Because like I tell my guys, you're working on a vehicle that's 3,000 pounds or 100,000 pounds going 70 miles an hour next to a family 5 feet away. Like, I need your mind in the freaking game. I need you to pay attention to what you're doing. And because there's a lot more than just, oh, this comeback's coming back, so it's gonna be a warranty job. There's way more than just that. And so so they'll do that. And family always first. So anytime that anything pops up, I don't care how busy we are, get home, sort your shit, come on back, let me know if you need anything. So I think those are more the personal, like, that's kind of my,
Yeah.
I truly care about my crew, you know what I mean? But when it comes to like business wise, yes, there's the healthcare. I try to, if I find something here and there, okay, I'll hear like one of the guys are going to go to Circle K to go get some Gatorade for everybody. Oh, I'm not going to let you pay for that. Here, let me just throw in. Let's buy some lunch every once in a while. Someone's doing a rocket job. I mean, again, they don't. I'm creating that bonus structure for production and productivity. But if I see someone just kicking ass, taking names, I'll just go out there, $50, $100. Here you go. Like,
Yep.
Good job, thank you. Keep it driving. You know what I mean? And then I want to try to get to the point where I'm looking at better healthcare. I'm looking at 401ks and more investments. But hey, right now I can't do that until we get better productivity going on. Because where do you think the money comes from?
Yeah. So making money.
There it is.
So I got a story for you.
Yeah.
Just something Preston just said reminded me of this. So back when we first started hiring employees, so this is somebody that's been long gone now. They came to Dawn and they go, hey, money's tight. I got a couple big bills. Is there any way you can give me an advance? And Dawn's like, well, what are you thinking? And they said, I don't remember the numbers. So we're just going to, because I like round numbers, we're going to pick $1,000.
Shit, that's a lot of bills.
And Dawn goes, well, what are you thinking? Well, I'll just work for free until it's paid off. So you just won't pay me. And when that's paid, then I can get paid again.
No.
And Dawn goes, yeah, that doesn't work for me because you still got to make something.
You'll be poor right after you're done.
Right. So Dawn took their salary down to like $10 an hour.
Sure.
And let's say they made 15. So that other $5 an hour went to paying that back, and it was paid back, I don't know, in 4 months.
Sure.
Let's say. And just not only the gratitude from the employee was awesome, but the fact that their work never saw. I mean, they worked their ass off before, they worked their ass off during, they worked their ass off after.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just, and they knew that we were absolutely behind them because we were willing to say, hey, you're in a bind right now. we can absolutely do this.
Yep.
And when your employees know you'll be there for them, that it gives them a new sense of pride working for someone and working at a company. You know, they don't mind wearing, you know, your name on their hat or on their shirt,
Yep.
because they also believe in what's being done. And that's huge. I mean, you know, as well as I do, when you go out there, your Nick Watkins Homes or, you know, whatever, you know, Nick Watkins LLC, and that means something to you because that is literally your name.
Mhm.
Okay. When I go out there in break room therapy stuff, that is, you know, my wife's brand. When Preston's got the Callahan right behind him there, that's his name.
Yep.
And because we are, you know, three big guys, that always means more to people like us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and you know, you don't do it. It doesn't get used and abused, right? But you want your employees to know that it's there. I remember I was working at a place and we talked about, hey, at least I'm smart to say, hey, I won't cut everything. I'll just
Right.
cut a little bit. Working at a company, guy goes, oh, I'm getting married. Hey, to the owner, right? And this is a medium-sized business, right?
Yeah.
It's not small. It's pretty decent size.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey Jay, how much do you need or whatever? And he's like, I don't know, $600. And he takes a wad of cash out of his pocket, gives him $600. He goes, get your money back when I get a paycheck. Mind you, this is the fucking owner, so he knows when you're getting paid.
Right.
Walks in, you know, the week later, 2 weeks, whatever the hell time it was, hey Jay, get your paycheck, right? Yeah. Cool. Where's my money? Oh, hey, I don't have it. Where the fuck is my money? And he goes, man, I just don't have it. And he goes, good, get your shit, get the fuck out of here. He goes, I don't take people that don't pay me fucking back. I was like, damn, just fired him on the fucking spot. He's like, yep. And I was like, man, if you say you're gonna pay it back, but like $600, and I don't know what problem is. I don't know what medium. It's probably $100 million business, right?
Okay.
I mean, his daughter drove his. So I almost got fired. We almost got fired. His drives in the fucking Porsche, and just as a fucking joke, we grab the high-low, or we grab two high-lows, lift it up, fucking have it all the way and take the keys and take them out of the high-low. Come in the next day, it was like, who the fuck did that? And I was like, oh yeah, we couldn't do our job because it was parked. So like, think about it. It was like in the middle of the fucking bay, right? Like this was where we did all of our work, and they parked it right there. And we're like, no. So we just fucking lifted it up and was like, yeah, it was in our way. See ya. Have a good day. He was so pissed. And we're like, look, you could either have the fucking job done, or we just weren't going to work yesterday, and you would have gotten zero money of income. Oh, man, I could have swore he was going to fire, and I would have been fine with it. I ended up quitting that job, but he's like, all right, I'll tell her not to park here anymore, because everybody was like, oh yeah, it was definitely us. He said there's nothing we can do about it. But man, for $600 you go get fired, but we were making $10 an hour back then.
Yeah.
Now this company's starting out at, I don't know, like 18 or something like that. It was a weird company how it was ran, and he ended up retiring, and it's become a business, kind of like what you're trying to do, Cal. Back then it was, I don't know what to call it, a hobby, right? I mean, it was $100 million. Like he was doing really well. Now it's like, hey, we have a board, we have management, we have people, we have structure. There's,
Back then things were flexible and could change.
Oh, 100%,
now they
right.
can't.
No, like now it's, show the fuck up. So, but my buddy still works there, and it's just funny because he's like, you can't, because, back then, man, if you had a problem with an employee, you just told that employee, right? And it was funny because you talk about employees getting along and keeping the culture thing. Because really back then it was just, look, if I had a problem, I told you off, you told me off, whatever the hell it was. We shook hands, whatever. We didn't talk for the night.
Yep.
You came back the next day and you looked and you got jealous that he has a fucking bratwurst and you're over here eating your 15th day of fucking ramen noodle soup, right? And you're like, damn, man, it looks real good, kind of a thing. But you just get back to it. No big. Now he's like, oh man, you can't tell people off. You can't do all this. They write you up, which is a thing now. It's what the fuck's getting written up. It's that is one thing I do miss, is me having the ability just to tell people off, because there's so many people I want to tell off all the time. And so, no, you said family first, so you let your people go do all their family events. They got a kids party that they have to do now. Are you offering vacation time?
Yes, they get what's all this is PTO, so that's vacation and sick time. So they get 40 hours a year.
Okay.
And then all paid holidays off, obviously.
Sweet.
So yeah, man, it's we're getting there. I mean, there's a lot more I want to do. Like I'm even looking at my with how the world's going on. I'm like looking at my own way for employees to actually invest into some of these businesses I'm doing for like a way higher return than like a 401k or savings account. Trying. It's especially I'm looking at for the long game. And the more they want to put in, more that goes, because I know some guys that are a little on the older side with me that they don't really have any of that set up. So in my head I'm going, well, you don't have 30-40 years to try to build this retirement. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We need to do something now. So it's going to be I can make you more money in this business side. And some of these what we're trying to do here, like keep the money in our circle. You know what I mean? Let's help each other out. And I'm not doing this for my health. I'm doing this. If happier my crew is, we'll make their money in the long run.
Sorry, one of my gifts I want to give you real quick is David and I absolutely love Betterment. Okay, and you said, hey, I need to have more production to be able to pay in, but you can set up a business side of Betterment for 401k. And so you could offer at least something. So you're giving your employees some knowledge of, hey guys, this is how because otherwise you'd have to go teach them, you have to go hook them over the bank and IRA it. But you could go in, set up a business side, and then go, hey, we're offering a 401k. I can't do a match to start, but at least you have an opportunity to start investing in a Betterment account. So a 401k business side, and it'll help them out. And it doesn't, I don't say, they pay the fees with their money if you decide to start matching or whatever, right? I mean, it's 0.3% or something like that is what they take. It's really cheap because it's all virtual type stuff. So maybe just if you want, maybe look into that.
Look into that, yeah.
Yep.
You said it's called Betterment.
Yep, betterment.com. And then David actually could probably send you a referral link types. I don't know if
I know that I actually talked to them about the employer plan.
Yep.
So I'm actually looking for that information right now.
So, and we'll get that to you.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. Say just because I love the fact that you want to take care of you. I really think you're a good entrepreneur. Just gosh, we've been on for an hour, but the hour interaction. You're headed in the right direction. You're a young guy who's willing to work, hustle, grind, but still understand that you wouldn't be here without everybody else, right?
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that.
I know Facebook, social media doesn't do much, but like every time I flip a house, every time I do something, I give my shout out to my people and say, this is their stuff. All I did was purchase the fucking thing.
Exactly.
I didn't sit here and do all the work. So yes, I picked out a color. So that's and well, it's funny because one of the things about me is if I have to make a decision, I will. But if it's something I don't care about and it doesn't really matter, I don't, right? So they're like, oh, hey, what do you want to do for cabinets? I don't fucking care. Just go buy the cabinets they have in stock. And now I've learned that, they'll take 4 hours because they're like me. They're like, oh, what should I do? And I'm like, nope, cool. We're doing white cabinets. We're doing gray walls. We're doing this flooring. This is what it is. Like, it really comes down to me as my responsibility. This is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it when we're doing it. Right.
Yep.
Stupid. People don't understand like how small of details there is, right? Like, hey, we're doing chrome hinges, chrome this, chrome that, or hey, we're doing oil rub bronze. This is what we're doing on this. This is what we're buying this. And I go buy it but if it's something they're going to go to the store, hey, I have to go to the store and grab this. What should I grab for the handrail brackets? Great. Could you grab black? That's going to work, right? Like,
yeah.
And people don't understand how it could take somebody 3 hours to figure out, oh man, what should we, or they'll come back with silver and you'd be like, man, that just never crossed your mind to match everything else in the fucking house we're doing, right? Like,
yeah.
So now good for you, man. You're doing really well on it.
So the cheap plan with Betterment.
Yep.
To offer a 401k is $100 per month.
Okay.
And then $5 per person.
Yep. So it's really inexpensive. And then they pay their fees on top of that, right? Like the employees.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
You can either eat the fees or the employee can pay, the 2 or 3%, whatever it ends up being.
Yeah, I don't even think it's.
I don't think it's that high.
I think it's
either.
0.3 or something like that. But so and it gives your guys something to do. And then the good thing with Betterment is if they happen to leave you, they could take it with them. I mean, all 4 ones you can do that, but they get their own login, they get their own everything, and so they can. It's tied to your business, but it's not part of that.
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
and then all right, you own 7 trucks, you said, and they're scattered
Right.
all around. Now, do your employees take trucks home?
Yeah,
or
they're all take home trucks. So we kind of have them all set like a big diamond. They're all within. I mean, I have two of my farthest techs out there from our shop. They're about an hour and a half away, in opposite directions. One's down south, one's out west. And so we we had to kind of spread them out a little bit so we can kind of have that coverage. Yep. And because man, I had we're buying a house and I had to go through and see how much fuel I spent this year so far. Holy shit.
Yeah. Say
crazy. So but yeah, they're all spread all over the place, and they're all take home trucks.
Okay. Say which I mean, and that's the thing. Now, do your employees, because you said you're open, I mean, do your employees see what that's actually worth for them?
Some of them have kind of forgotten that. Some of them know it because especially when they want to go like camping or whatever, and they haven't paid insurance on their personal vehicle in like 6 months, and they're like, "Holy crap, man! They went camping. They didn't really realize how expensive fuel was."
Yep.
And so I'm like, yeah, well, guys, there's a benefit to it. It costs me money if I want you on standby. It costs me money to have you take it home, but that's why I expect you to take calls. That's the whole purpose of you taking it home. So,
yep.
So yeah, it's they some of them see it, but sometimes you have to have the coming to Jesus meeting to kind of bring it back to earth a little bit so they realize it.
Well, I mean, what's a new truck? Because what are you using? 3500s? What are you using?
35, 45, and 5500s.
Okay, so you're using some big trucks.
Oh yeah, one of my trucks, it has a full crane on it, and it's pushing 19,500 pounds.
Oh shit. Okay. So yeah, I mean, and what's that? 120,000?
Brand new, that would be about 180.
180. Okay, with the crane.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, right, and this guy just gets to drive it home. So
yeah, exactly.
And the
heavy
miles
truck, he rips through a set of brakes a month,
right?
Because how big it is, and the overall, just the maintenance and wear and tear, the tires, and I mean, just you name it, man. It's like, it gets expensive.
Your oil change, all of it, right? And it's funny because employees never really see that, but you're sitting here going, hey, every year it doesn't cost you because it's my responsibility, but it's $200,000 to fucking keep you on the road, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it's
stupid. And so, my brother drives a company van, and I'm like, I'm glad you love it, but like, don't take it for granted. I mean, these people are, oh man, because for a while there was no chips, and they're like, we can't get new vans, and I was like, well, be happy that you have what the hell you have, because trust me, I mean, it costs this company so much money to go through this.
Yeah, all the trucks we have, they're all used trucks. I mean, like that.
Are they?
Like that big crane truck? It would be 180,000 to replace it. We bought it for 20 grand.
Sure.
I can't find that deal anywhere else ever again.
No,
but some other trucks, they're older and all that. But I tell the guys, I'm like, hey, we'll spend I'll pay them to work on their own truck.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, take care of it. This and this and this. Like, we're not to the point yet. Either A, do you want me to pay you as much as I can, or want me bring that down so I have more profit to make a truck payment? You tell me. I'll run it either way you want, but something's got to give. Either I pay you as much as I can, or pull it back so I can afford this.
Yeah.
And so,
so
it is.
You'd be surprised because I mean, now these people haven't had a car payment forever, so it makes another thing for them to try to leave you, right? Because they're like, shit, now I gotta get a vehicle, now I gotta have insurance, now I gotta do all of this, and it's like, having that company vehicle is not so bad, is it?
Yeah.
So,
there's a couple of things I tell my crew all the time is I tell them, because any good mechanic has side work. They can get
Always.
This is the like only industry is you can be going F you do in the morning at your work job and have a job by lunch without even trying to interview.
Yep.
That's how much they need mechanics. And so I tell my guys all the time, like, you don't need me to be in this industry, but I need you. You can do what I'm doing if you're half stupid and just want to risk everything just to put your balls in line, just put your name on the front door. Go right ahead.
Yep.
And another thing I tell them is, it's like a big ship. I like to use analogies all the time to try to get through people's head. It's like we're a big ship. You guys are the motor just pushing this thing along. I'm steering in the right direction over here. But if nothing happens, I can't do this without you guys, or we'll be floating and bobbing in the water going nowhere.
Yep.
So it's true. It's true. And it's crazy to me that a lot of businesses don't get that aspect. They don't understand that. So
yeah.
More power to them. That's what I just want the good guys.
Yes, right. How often are you getting turnover currently?
I go through I would say average about four guys a year.
Okay.
And it's kind of funny. Most of the time when I have guys that quit, you start getting sometimes I tell my guys, I'm like, maybe I'm saying thank you too much or something, because I start getting the big head mentality, because I'm paying as much as I possibly can and listening to what they had to say, and it's like they've never worked for anywhere before, where it's like, well, holy shit, you actually listen to me. I have a say in this. So, does it maybe it always seems like it goes to their head. And when they leave here, they bounce around, 2 months here, 3 months here, and they're bouncing around all over the place with some other places. But I'm like, I can't, maybe that's kind of shifted exactly how I present things to my employees, by going through that. And, but I pick my battles, man. And it's kind of weird that someone doesn't know how to take, they've never had that before, so they don't know how to take it, if that makes sense.
Well, I know mechanics, right? You guys are you're your own breed. I promise you are. And, because how many of your guys in the 4 a year give you a 2 weeks notice?
I would say all of them.
Really?
I would say all of them.
Are
One
they going to be mechanics
all the way through? What's that?
Are they going to be mechanics somewhere else?
3 of them were. One of them
Okay.
went out of the industry, and and one guy he gave me the 2 weeks, but it couldn't follow through on the 2 weeks, and that
Sure.
that pisses me off. I'm just like, man of your word. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Just it. I was honest with you. I didn't get pissed when they did that. I have had a couple guys where I'm like, I can't trust your work for the next 2 weeks, so we can just call it a day right now. But it's you gotta, every situation is different, and it's never a conversation you ever want to talk about. It is what it is. Business is business, baby.
Well, I think here in Michigan, I promise you, it's a little different, because these guys don't give 2 weeks around here, right? They show up with a truck and a trailer, and they load their shit up, and that's how they know they're gone. Mechanics around here, no, right? Like, I guess if you're in management, sure, they'll give it, but really, these guys just load up a trailer and they're right down the road to the next shop, and it's crazy, because every owner out there is offering, huge promises, huge everything, and then they never keep their word. Oh man, I'll make you triple the money. Okay, well, we're sitting here with no work, and it's like,
we'll see. A lot of times I've run in guys that are that don't know a lot. They want to learn more.
Yep.
So we bring them in again, like I was saying, get someone that's moldable and it can retain everything. We'll teach them all this stuff. We'll teach them skills that they didn't have before. So that's where a lot of the head swell comes from.
Yep.
And like, well, I need to get paid more right now. It's like, I need to get a little bit more money out of you first for training you, and
Yep.
you need to get a little more experience under your belt, get some tools under your belt, and then hey, let's go up from there. But no, they try to pull and unplug and try to jump somewhere else, and it's like, hey, best luck to you. I always tell everyone, I'll hire everyone back once.
Yep.
If you want to see if the grass is greener over there, go right the hell ahead. But you only come back to my pasture one other time. After that, then we're done.
How many have you taken back?
2.
Okay. So
Are they still there?
Yep.
I say, well, that's
Smart guys.
cool, because what they'll find out is, right, the grass isn't that much greener. If it is, it's only greener for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, well, and you know, like I was telling my team too, like, hey, I'm only human, guys. I fuck up just like everyone else does. So, but if you come call me out, you better have an idea for me to do it better. And that's my only request. And so when they come back to me, it's more of a, okay, you're not coming back exactly where you left here. Just want to make that clear. And let's talk about this a little more. Now I need you to be a little open for me. What was the difference when you moved over to this other shop, this other company over here? You know, what made you come back here? Those are the things I need to hear to help gauge what I need to do better and different. And you know, I need a report card just like an employee needs a report card.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's you know,
sometimes it's, you know, between two employees, right? And that's nothing you can really control.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's just some guys that just can't get along. You know, I promise you. I mean, painters, they're either the greatest thing in the world or they're just the dumbest idiots you've ever met in your life.
Yep.
And it blows me, you know, hey, I need this, you know, I need this quarter panel, I need this, and no, I'll get to it in 3 weeks. Oh, dude, like, no, I didn't ask. I told you this is what I need. This is, you told me yesterday, and here we go. But no, so do you have guys that are doing everything, or do you have specific guys that do specific things? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, all my guys, they'll do an aspect of a whole everything, but some of them are better in certain parts of it than the other techs. So now here's the thing, I don't keep the good, you know, the guys that are good at this only on those, because the other guys won't be able to learn. So as long as they're okay, I'm going to kick them in the water 2 feet and say, sink or swim, baby, let's go. But you know, we're there. I'm there over the phone coaching them. What can we do? What diagrams do you need? This and this and this. If we need to, we'll dispatch a second truck out there to give them a hand. But I mean, again, you know, the only way you're going to learn is do it. And you know, like I tell them, just make it right with the customer. If you had 2 hours of trying to find which way is up, don't charge the customer those 2 hours. Just be honest, you know. Sure. And but you know, hey, more they do, more you can do, and more you can get your hands on, the better off and more money you're going to be worth for me and yourself.
Yep. And do your guys drive in every day to your office or to your shop?
No, some of my well, obviously the guys in the shop do, but some of my roadside guys, sometimes I don't see them for 2 to 4 weeks on end, because you know, everything's all cloud based. We have well, they get direct deposits, and so they don't have to worry about that. All of our times and all of our communications is all over our software and the internet. So it makes it, you know, like I was saying, I'm trying to get this thing built so we can jump state lines. And start, you know, all that. Well, the only way you can do that, you can't have someone drive in from California every day or anything like that. So, yeah, they usually just stick in their areas, so we don't have to pay the fuel costs. Well, I don't have to pay the fuel costs every day for that.
Yeah, so you know, you said you have guys hour and a half away, so it's, you know, they got to come to the shop once in a while, but
yeah, not $5 a gallon for diesel, that adds up quick.
Right, and you know, a 5,500. I mean, you're getting what, 6 miles to the gallon? No, it's depending on the age of the truck, but no, that's crazy. So, all right, you guys so to be clear, I mean, you guys are working on big project. You said you do motors, transmissions. I mean, are you guys doing oil changes too, like small jobs?
Yeah, I have one truck. All it does is wash and lube trucks for U-Haul. That's all it does. And so yeah, we'll do maintenance on that if it's too big of a job, because again, our primary is the emergency roadside, so that 90-minute ETA. So if it's too big of a job, that's when I'll call in one of my buddies that I network with. We'll kick that job over to him because that's his forte. He doesn't want to go on the road, and you know, I don't want to sit there and babysit jobs at the shop all the time. So we'll refer that over to him, and then he refers a lot of stuff over to us. And you know, just kind of sticking each of our fortes, because his truck, it gets like 3 or 4 miles to the gallon. Mine trucks get 5 to 7 miles to the gallon. So you know, there's got to be some meat on the bone for him to fire his truck up and get out there, because it's a big one.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see. And then now, do you have ties with some towing companies out there? You said you have a yard now, so
yeah. So we work with a lot of the other tow companies. There's a couple ones we know personally, but those guys seem to bounce around quite a bit. So
Sure.
that always kind of changes. But we have our hit list, and then they call us too if there's something they need help with or whatever. Because my trucks have welders and torches and all that stuff on them.
Oh, really?
And so oh yeah, so they're full service with cranes and all that. So
Yeah.
so yeah, they'll do that, and then yeah, it's you never know who you're gonna meet. So you're always willing to, like, and that's what I have my guys do out there too, is that they meet another mechanic company, befriend them, go see how they are. If they're assholes, we'll run them to the ground. If they're cool as hell, let's work with them.
Yep.
And that's pretty much how it is. And we'll draw that line in the sand right there. And it's glad we'll do that, because we'll run across different companies in the field, and they'll come over and get us a hand real quick, or and vice versa. And also kind of look out for each other, because some of the guys, they run in you get in the downtown Phoenix area at 3 o'clock in the morning with gunshots firing off, it gets a little sketchy.
Yeah.
So you gotta have be nice to everybody. Again, you never know who's watching you, and you never know who's going to be coming up with you. I actually found we hired 2 of my roadside guys from doing service calls for U-Haul. Going out there, they're like, yeah, this is really cool. My guys were, again, it goes from the top down. Be nice, this. Talk to them, customer service. Checking out the truck, talking to them. They wanted to come work for us, so I'm like, all right, well, there's a way to recruit some help.
Yep.
So,
oh, that's great.
When you're networking, how do you get these other businesses to actually buy in?
I always start with giving the Twinkie first. Get something. I'm always you already know when you first talk to someone that's maybe looking at you as a competition or whatever. They kind of have the one word answers, no eye contact, kind of short, those type of things. And it's like, well, I'm giving you this job. You're going to make bank on it. Do you want it or not?
Right.
Oh, well, okay. And then start talking to you like a customer. You're like, okay, now I'm in it. So, shoot it over there. Then they call you like, dude, thank you very much for doing that. I'm like, well, I told you I was wanting to work with you. So now you know, and I'm not full of shit. Are you ready to do this? And then we start talking a little bit more, and I'll tell them, if you have any questions, if you need help, you need to pick my brain on something or whatever, have a difficult customer, give me a call. We're here to help each other. So you kind of have to ease into it, because this is, you're an entrepreneur. It's like this is your Keebler cookie recipe over here. You don't want anyone to infiltrate on your turf, which I get. And but I've before I wanted to start networking like this on the service trucks, I definitely wanted to kind of get my system in place first, because this is a system that they don't have, and I have no problem sharing it with them and explaining it to them. There's no competition. They're hitting these customers over here. I'm hitting these giant net 90 customers over here. So once they actually start seeing it, we're not competitors. We're actually there's more work than all of us can even do to begin with.
Yep.
So let's work together. We're not now, if you try to steal each other's accounts, we have a problem. And I actually created a whole agreement that we all signed, that I will kick anyone off my federal contract if anyone starts scoping out on each other's contracts or customer base that's in our circle. That's if I can't trust you doing that, I can't trust you doing a good job for me in the wildfires. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So that's huge. Trust is the biggest thing, and
it is.
I say, and a handshake is a handshake, right? And I say a man's word goes a real long way. So
it does, and they're great guys, man. We always talk about how cool it is. Like I'm getting some cool shirts made up for the fire crews, and we're putting their logos on with our logo. So this is the first time I've ever seen like multiple mechanic shops coming together all on a t-shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to me, it's like the mechanic movement. We all have to work with each other, because we'll get the same applicants for employees. We'll get the same customers. This customer will piss you off or screw you over, then call this guy over here. Well, this guy calls me. Hey, this guy calls me, said you worked on it. What's going on? He's like, dude, you don't want to touch this fucker. Kick him down the road. He's trouble. And so once they started seeing that the benefit of everyone working together and being tight knit and sharing tools and trucks and this and this and this, it's a pretty cool setup that we have going on.
That's awesome. So I mean, I see you're wearing I'm assuming a company uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody get that uniform?
Yes, all my roadside guys have this. The only reason I'm running a roadside today is I didn't do laundry this past weekend. But all my
Sure.
guys in the shop, they're black with red stripes, and all my roadside guys are high vis. And then I have high vis jackets for them in the wintertime. And
How many wives have thanked you for giving them shirts in your shop?
not one actually.
That's
because
surprising because they haven't had to do
Yeah.
the laundry yet.
So, well, that's what's crazy is all my roadside guys, they don't use the laundry service that we have here, and that picks up. So they do it at home. So
Sure.
I'm like, and some of these guys, they'll come into the shop and this thing is black.
Yeah.
It's permanently stained black. They have to change them out because the reflected doesn't reflect no more.
Yep.
And so it's like I can only imagine what their washing and dryers look like. So it's one of those topics. Don't ask because I don't want to know. I can only imagine.
Yeah, no, it's surprising because I mean, of uniforms that people should want is definitely mechanic, right? I mean, especially on the diesel side, you're in the engine bay. I mean,
Oh yeah,
you're
Oh,
just
yeah.
covered. So you're doing some U-Haul stuff. So now roadside for anybody that breaks down as they're using a U-Haul truck, is that what it is?
Yeah, there's U-Haul, there's Pepsi Company, there's the Frito-Lay, there's I mean just a lot of national. I have a freaking list and a half
Sure.
that we do roadside service for and work on. But yes, but U-Haul is my first account, and they're kind of our baby. Like no
Yep.
matter what's going on, we always take care of U-Haul because they help me
Get to
in
where you are.
exactly. And so
Yeah.
I mean they're a ginormous company, but they taught me a lot how to deal with corporate structure, which no matter how fucking crazy it is, it is what it is. And so that allowed me to learn about it, and they got me there. So that's why I don't care what happens and whatever, they're always a priority. And they don't give two shits about it. We're just a vendor for them, but it matters to me.
Yeah.
Because they helped me get there. So
No, and that's something you'll always remember and you'll have forever, right? I mean,
yep,
just like
absolutely.
a bar that has their first dollar on the back of it, right? I know that came from
100%.
the guy that's been in that same stupid stool for 60 years.
Oh yeah, so some of my guys are like, boss, why do we keep doing this or whatever? I'm like, I'll literally hire someone else to only do U-Haul just so I know I'm taking care of them. But because again, being a man of your word, they've helped me get here. I'm gonna take care of it no matter how crazy it is.
Yeah, I think that's great. So where sorry, you have a 7-year-old and a 4-month-old.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself selling the company or handing it down?
Hopefully hand it down.
Okay.
And hopefully it's to a family to keep it in the family. And if not, then hey, one of my employees or whatnot. So we'll see. It's one of those, just like my wife. I'm not gonna. My mom's a business owner. I grew up around her secondhand baby kid store, and when you're forced to go there as a kid, you kind of resent it a little bit.
Yep.
And so I'm like, well, just like my wife, I'm not gonna expect her to come do it. And guess what? She wanted to come in, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the same thing with my kids. And if they want to come in, fantastic, wide open arms. But I'm not gonna expect them to come do it. You know what I mean?
Just don't be a cheap ass when your kid has to go sand an entire like quarter panel and he goes through like 4 sheets of sandpaper. Just understand, hey, you could teach him, look, you can use this a little longer. I'm not saying that happened to me, I'm just saying.
To me, that's fine. All I know, he's gonna work his ass off for it. I'm not gonna hand it to him.
Yep.
So
No, it's
I have a question.
yeah.
Is there a number in your head?
absolutely not, because I keep growing 30 to 40. Hell, like I said, I literally doubled my sales last year. It's crazy with how we're doing, how we're growing, with the issues that I'm trying to sort out right now. I mean, dude, right now we're at 20 to 30% productivity, and we're just knocking out numbers left and right. So I don't even know what my potential is right now.
Mhm.
And so until I see what my potential is and see what my crew can actually produce, and I can show them what they can produce, there's not even a number I can fabricate. But there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. And again, out of anything, I would say the biggest reason I can't sell is I don't know how my employees are going to be treated or taken care of if I pawn it off on somebody. If I don't have that control to take care of them, that bothers the hell out of me, because it's you know what I mean. It's just,
You're gonna be the words that come. It's weird to me because there's some people that we talk to on this
Mhm.
podcast that my brain is like, but like, dude, when you talk, like we're a lot alike in these types of things, and you remind me of the people that I associate with, right? So like, I've bought multiple apartment complexes, and it took me, I don't know, 8 to 10 years to buy them because the owner had to watch my whole business and figure out how I treated people. So he didn't need the money, but it came down to he wouldn't sell for the longest time because it's like, hey, how are you going to treat my tenants, right? Are you going to take care of them the way that I did? Because I don't want to give it over to somebody that's not going to give a shit, right? He's like, I'd rather lose money than let these amount of people just have this type of a life. And it's like, so going
It's
forward,
taking that ownership.
oh, it's huge.
oh yeah.
And so like, no matter what you do, you're already successful. Let me say that, but like, you will be so successful if you maintain this mindset, if you maintain who you are as a person, right? Money will come and go, but really, like, when you're taking care of people, people will start seeing it. I mean, four is actually, I was pretty surprised when you said 4 for a turnover for only 14 employees. But not the mechanic world to say, but it's really hard to like, but I really do think, I mean, you're just gonna explode. It might not be in the next, couple of years, but say 5 years, you'll get to the next big expansion. By the time you're ready to hand it off, you're gonna end up being on the board and saying, hey, this is where we're expanding, and all you're gonna do is work on that type of stuff. Is how I'm seeing it currently.
Like my wife says, she goes, "You'll never be able to retire. Just gonna start more shit." I'm like, "Well, you're probably right."
Yep.
And so, but yeah, man, yeah, we'll just keep on keeping on. We're going the right direction. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
When you can see you have a real passion for it, I asked that question because I know Dawn has a number in her mind,
Yeah.
and I've asked her before. You know what she says after she has that number? I don't know what the fuck I would do if I didn't have the business. I like what I do. I enjoy going in. It gives me meaning. And when you can find that in a job, why would you want to stop doing that?
And you see that so much. I just had this conversation. I went to my cousin's wedding this weekend, and I was talking to my aunt, and she, I was like, my uncle just retired in July, and I was like, oh, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm still working. And I was like, man, I thought you were retired. And she's like, what would I do? And I was like, I'm half your age. I'm retired. I'm telling you, you will literally find so much to do. Everything I do is active. Okay, well, I can't get around. And I was like, trust me, you've I mean, she's been on the board of education, she's been on the board of this, like, your time will just be giving, like, you have no idea. And you don't need the money, trust me, I fucking know this, right? Because every 2 seconds you want to brag to me about how much more you have than me. So but right, so all right, where are you? So word of mouth is huge for getting people. Where are you getting all of your clients from? Not
Well,
just on the corporate side, but like, I mean, the
well, I do advertise it. So in the shop, I pay quite a bit on marketing and advertising. Even and it's kind of funny is we're always about 2 to 3 weeks booked out in here in the shop. And my marketing guy is like, hey man, let's do this. I'm like, I'll tell him, I'm like, well, you can never just pull back on our marketing. You can't just say turn it off. You
Right.
can't do that. And so I told him, like, here's I want to do a advertising ad for not pushing business but by educating customers. He goes, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, have customers like, hey, this is how like what is a shop taking care of you. Ask the right, help them ask the right questions and this and this. And he goes, I've never had anyone in all the years I've been doing this ask me to do that. I'm like, well, I don't need to be pushing anything. I don't need my phones to be blown up because they're already blown up right now, and we're backed up right now. So I mean, anyone that's going to be coming in, they're not going to come if we're 3 weeks out. And so, but let's just do this, and it keeps us in front of people, and then hey, maybe this helps out people, and hey, let's just see what happens. Ended up making a phone blow up even more because they're like, oh my god, we're not trying to say call us and get in the door, like the bait and switch type of marketing or whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
And but it's you still got to pay for it. You gotta hustle it. And on the service truck side, we have some ads going out for like the big rig guys, when they have their driver's logs and their trucks and the truck stops or whatever. But that's predominantly a lot of Google searching and finding companies that I didn't even know existed. There's some ginormous companies out there that you never even heard of, because all they do is just deal with wholesalers, and they're like the top of the top. Like there's one client we prospected. They have 285,000 trailers nationwide.
Wow.
That is, I can't even fathom seeing
Right.
285,000 freaking trailers. And so yeah, just seeing what's out there. All you can do is go fishing and see what happens.
What gives you the best return on investment advertising wise?
Definitely not Yelp. That was the most horrible freaking investment of marketing I've ever done in my life. I would say I sponsor some marching bands.
Mhm.
And for high school, like my fifth grade, my high school instructor, I sponsored their school. I say that the person to person, talking to them, give them the old school, give them a business card, and then at that point, because I think that really that makes your Facebook social media stuff go wild. I mean, it's all about social media and pushing that way for marketing. But man, if you're out there in midst of people and being a part of like car shows and giving back to the community and those type of things, and you have that physical card, when I'm out there, I got my fucking logos everywhere.
Yep.
But and then people start seeing that, they start looking you up, and then it just starts a snowball effect. So I think it's not just one thing; it's a combination of a couple things coming together to really just take off and blow up.
Well, I know for us, like our best return on investment's always social media ads, so Facebook especially. When we first opened, my wife freaked out immediately because we had this huge media storm of we're the first rage room in the area, and come see us. And then of course after the initial push died down, sales dropped because we were brand new.
Yep.
And she freaked out and she wanted to get a billboard. And the billboard was something like $4,000 a month. And I told her, absolutely not. We're not doing a damn billboard, because I pass billboards every day and not one billboard has ever motivated me to buy anything ever. So she ended up doing radio ads for a month, which still costs like $1,500. And I wasn't happy with that, but it wasn't a billboard. So I was like, okay, we can try this. And she got done doing that, and she goes, never again. I'm going to stick to Facebook ads because they're cheaper. I get it in front of way more people, and the return on investment's so much higher.
Yeah, you could pick your demographic at that point.
Absolutely.
I mean, those billboards, the only thing that works on that one is the Snickers one that just has this colors of Snickers that says nothing about Snickers, but I'm like, I want a Snickers. Because it's just that, it's just that brand recognition was so deep on there. But until you get to that point, something like that's not going to work.
Never.
No.
Well, and I'll see local like plumbers and heating and cooling guys. They'll have their stuff there. I never call them.
Never once.
Yeah, not at all.
I call a friend and I go, usually him. I'm like, hey, who do you got for a plumber? Because he works with plumbers, so I can trust it. I got another guy that sells plumbing supplies. He works for like a national company. And you didn't have a plumber at the time. And I'm like, hey, who do you use for a plumber? And he's like, I called these 3 people, and I called one of them. He came right out, did the job. I didn't worry about who was on a billboard.
Right.
Yeah, the guys on the billboards, I'm like, oh my God, they're expensive.
That's exactly it.
I don't want to pay for that shit. So
they got enough money to spend $4,000 a month on a billboard.
Well, fuck, some of the money to come from me.
Exactly.
Nobody's doing anything for free.
Yeah.
Man, I said I got to get So you have Callahan t-shirts?
I do. Well, I'm actually out right now. We're getting ready to do a big run on new shirts for just regular Callahan shirts or fire shirts, and we just get a rough draft going for my artist. It's gonna look badass. So I'm excited. So he did that logo, and
Yeah.
so it's
Are they 10 millimeter wrenches?
what's that?
Are they 10 millimeter wrenches?
It's I would say 10 to 13 because those are the ones you lose all
Yeah, all the
goddamn
fucking time. So at least you know where your one is. But I mean,
Yep.
it's no, I say when it comes to marketing, I mean that, and you'll find that, right? If they're marketing to an extreme like that, they're gonna be more expensive.
Always.
Sure, they're I don't know about their quality, right? Like granted, I've used a few here and there, but and I have some guys like if it's a big job, I'm probably calling them because they just know how to handle it. Just like you said. I mean, you got all these small mom and pop shops that, they're not investing $100,000 to figure out if it can read a computer and what little sensor is frying, right? Like you're willing to go spend that. So yes, I have to go spend it with you, but at least you're out there. I know I have it, but never in my life if I'm going to go, yeah, sure, come in with your white polo, and do my HVAC. No, if your polo or if your shirt is white, no, you ain't working. Say you're doing sales, buddy.
Well, I would say another amazing tactic in the marketing side. It's more it's like I'm gonna call it marketing, but it's more CRM. Is the system that we have. I mean, once you get in my web, it's hard to get out. And but here's the thing: is just like dentists and stuff like that. You brush your teeth every day, but you don't think about your car. Normal people don't think about their car every day. You know what I mean? Until something happens. And so that's why we, our CRM side, a lot of the people that come to us when they have a big issue, they have their own mechanics, this and this and this, but are there other mechanics that they're using, sending them in a reminder in 6 months because we haven't seen them, saying, hey, how's your car doing? How you doing? This and this and this, as a text message. Is it sending out just a normal, how how was your service here? Did you like it and whatever? After a year, if we don't see them back, hey, it's something we did wrong. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. Yep. So it's and that goes a long way as well, because number one, they know we're here, but also it makes them kind of sit there and think, wow, they actually do care about my car. Yeah, it's automated, but at least they have the system in place to remind me. Like, actually, I don't know. Can I bring it in? It's been a long freaking time. You guys are the last one that touched it. It's like, okay, well, either A, they're going to go back to another place. Hey, our text reminded them, or B, they're going to be like, hey, this is actually kind of cool. I didn't really think about this. I want to go back to these guys. So, and then a lot of times that, the word of mouth, that's where that kind of starts rolling, starts spinballing that way. Hey, go call these guys, this and this and this. So it's and especially in our industry, we try to keep our bathroom really clean because 70% of our clientele is female.
Yep.
And so you gotta know who your clientele is, and so there's a lot of little things out there. Are we perfect on all aspects? No, but we try.
Man, I had a great question. So everybody's gonna want to know, and I want to know what's the coolest car, in your opinion, that you've ever worked on?
That I've ever worked on. There was a 67 or 68 Camaro that came in twin turbo. I mean, it was, I don't know that. No, there's another cool car from there. We dealt with some pretty badass stuff.
Yeah.
There was a diesel that came in here. It was a big old crew cab dually that it talking about sleeper. It run an 8-second quarter mile.
Yes. All right. Let's see.
Yeah. So it was like 8 or 10-second quarter miles. Just stupid. I mean, a Corvette can't even catch that.
Right.
See, here's the thing. We see those things all the time. Like not to that. Like, that's kind of like the borderline of like, okay, a little too crazy over here. Like, just money. Just move the decimal.
That's it, man. You've seen. And then, have you ever told anybody that their car is not worth repairing?
Not right off the get-go, because you never know what the personal connection is with that car. Sure. Man, we've had cars come in here. You're like, there's no, why the hell would you put in money? Then you found out great grandpa taught him how to drive in this thing a long time. It's not our job to tell them yeah, this thing is priceless for them. Yeah, we can't put a value on it, so we're just gonna report to it. But when you start asking them, do you love the car? No, not really. Okay, do you really like just do what you need to do? Oh, not really. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because at that point I already know they're not emotionally connected to it. If they say, oh well, I got to keep it because I owe so much money on a title loan or whatever. Okay, at this point, I already got my answer. I'm not going to tell them just to dump it and it's a POS.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you gotta kind of fish around on it, and kind of like a doctor, that bedside manners a little bit. You gotta be stern, be honest. I'm not lying to them, but once I get the answer of what direction they need to go, they have to go, then that's gonna determine what I recommend.
Yep. So do you guys work on any foreign cars?
We do. We work on all of them, but it just depends on how deep we go into it.
Okay.
If I need all the special tools or whatever, and if I don't see a lot of them, and we got to go deep into something, and I can't justify buying the tools to do the job because we're not going to see that job ever again, I'm just going to kick them to a specialty shop. But just regular services and those type of things, we'll do all that stuff.
Okay.
If the juice is worth the squeeze, we will do it.
There you go. Let's say, because there's and that's the thing. I don't think people understand like how many tools you guys actually have to have.
Oh, it's stupid.
I mean, I swear we talk about metric and standard, and then there's a size in between there for some of the stupidest things, right? Like, you have to hook that bends 45 and then 90 and then 12 and then 16 degrees, and the only way to get the thing in there is have this specific thing. It just blows my mind, right?
Oh yeah.
That's why I just
absolutely crazy.
I go without it. I'm like, yeah, I don't need that anymore. Say, option delete. That's the button I pick.
Option delete.
Yeah. Say, so all right, if you wouldn't mind, tell everybody how they can find you. Anybody that's corporate that's listening, how they can get a hold of you. Say, I've really enjoyed this interview. I think you're a great human being. I hope we keep in touch.
I'm gonna actually rush this one up.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll post this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, I appreciate you guys on this. So we're on Facebook, all the at Callahan Automotive, and our website is CallahanAutoAZ.com. And my name's Preston Callahan. You can hit me up personally on that one. Even if they want my phone number or whatever, you guys need to reach out, I'll give everyone my phone number. You can call me. I'm all about helping people. I'm not here to. I didn't come on your show. I'm not doing this to try to advertise myself and push myself. I've went through the punches. I've went through a long way. I'm like, I think I've got a pretty cool story to tell. So if I can help somebody, fantastic. But hey man, if anyone needs any service, needs any help with the business, anyone has any questions, I mean, hey man, it's fun to help people when you got your ass handed to you multiple freaking times.
Yeah, that's listen, that's anything else that we forgot to ask you that you want to share with us?
Nothing I could think of, man. This has been a blast, you guys. I truly appreciate you having me on board, and it's been a pleasure. So
well, I think you've already answered this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Yeah. So we like to check back in with guests that we really like. So you're absolutely interested in coming back on, I assume.
100%. You got me. Fantastic. You got me. You allowed me to drink at 3:00 in the afternoon. Fuck yes.
I mean, that is a nice perk of this job.
Tough life, but somebody's got to do it.
What have we gotten out of this? We've gotten a 6-pack.
Yeah,
and a couple growlers.
So we've made some beers.
Yeah, we've made some beers
and some wine.
And some wine. Yeah, we got a bottle of from Michigan Wine Company.
Yeah. So everybody, please, if you're enjoying the content, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. If you don't enjoy it, please tell your friends, tell your family, because maybe they will. I'm gonna give a shout out to the tried and the true, always the blue Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch. Thanks so much for another beer.
It'd be nice if they'd sponsor now.
I say wouldn't be mad. I mean, granted, I drink it all the time, but I want to take more pride in this company.
Yeah.
I've given them
your hat matches and everything. I think you have to. It's on your it's on your sign too.
That's what I'm saying. Like I've given these guys thousands of dollars. And
all you've gotten out of it is,
I mean, they did give me a $10 rebate that I never sent in, or a $15.
of course you did.
Because that's how much I support Anheuser-Busch. All right, I'm not sending that fucking rebate.
I
or
sent the
'cause I'm
rebate in
lazy.
on the case I bought you.
Or it's because I'm lazy. Preston, thank you so much for joining us.
Preston,
Absolutely,
don't run
guys.
away. We'll talk in a minute here off air. Everybody, thanks for joining. We'll be back next week with something. We're not sure what yet, but it'll be something. Thanks for joining as always.
You've dialed in
To Box and Brews, you might hear something
you can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use
smarts of these
because
stuff.
they know the
And
brews.
they know the box, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, cause shit's not funny.
Save yourself some
Beer money, bucks,
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks
brews.
and brews.
brews.
Bucks and brews.